So hopefully that tab and play along part was helpful, and if you want to download the tab in Guitar Pro format or in PDF format, there is a link in the description. And now I'd like to elaborate on different aspects of the song, and the first thing is just an overview of the whole song, because at the core this song is quite straightforward. It consists of 3 groups of power chords and 1 riff that is pretty much just based on 1 chord. And you know, the 3 power chord groups are, that's the first one, and then the second one is, you know, the chorus, like that. And then for the third group you only play 2 notes of the power chord, so you know, that part. And then, you know, the fourth thing is this riff, which I think of as being pretty much a C sharp minor chord. But what makes this song a bit hard to give an overview on, which I try to do in the tab, is that, you know, these parts are quite repetitive, but then there are some changes that are unique for that part of the song. So because of that, my tab ended up being quite long. So if you got confused by that, you can just keep in mind that you have these 4 groups, or really you can say that you have 5 groups, because the 5th one is that there are silence, which happens a lot in the song as well. But if you just know that you have these parts, then it should be quite easy to just figure out how to play the song just by listening to it. And when it comes to this riff, it's not too much about playing the notes right, but rather how you approach a note and getting the right feel for it. And my recommendation is to use the thumb for the low E, you know, kind of Hendrix and Frusciante style of doing it. And then when you get to these notes, I really recommend to only use your index finger, because if I use both my index finger and middle finger, it kind of feels like I lose the vibe of the riff. And if you find it complicated to do it like this with only the index finger, you can play just a G string instead. I think that will, you know, give a better vibe when you play the riff, and again, I think that is the most important aspect of it. And also when you do that bend, you don't want to bend it immediately like that or something, but you kind of want to hold it or maybe bend it slightly, and then towards the end you do that bend and end on the top of the bend. So, and I find that he tends to dig into the strings like this. So you kind of play all the strings, but you mute all the other strings that you don't want to be played, so you kind of get that, you know, feel to it. So not necessarily, but you really dig into this, all of the strings, or most of the strings. So it's a really funky and cool riff. And when it comes to the strumming pattern, it is really, you know, a punk feel to it, where you pretty much only do down strums, you know, like that. The only exception is, you know, when you do these chord switches, sometimes you do muted down up strums, like that, so, you know, like that. And then, you know, there are obviously a lot of funky like patterns, you know, like, or like that. So as long as you focus on doing down strums, I think you will get a feel for how to play it, you know, in terms of the rhythm, as long as you listen to the song or the play along / tab part at the beginning of this video. So yeah, that is the lesson, and perhaps this was a bit unusual because I usually do Frusciante related content, but this was actually a request and I had really fun doing this song. So please let me know in the comments what you'd like to see next, and leave a like for the algorithm, and I'll see you in the next video.